Important events pertaining to the history of Islam was narrated by her alone, such as how the process of divine revelation of the Quran started, the events of Muslim migration, hijrah, the details of the incident leading to ifq, or false accusations against her piety, the system and the order under which the Quran was revealed, the conditions governing various aspects of the Muslim prayers and worship, the conditions relating to the last illness of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the events which took place during the Battle of Badr, Uhud, the trenches, the happening of Qurayza, Battle of ZATUL, RAQA, the conditions of the Salatul Khawf, prayers offered in the moments of terror, the allegiance bay'ah offered by women of the conquest of Mecca, events of the last pilgrimage of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Khalifa of Hazrat Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the claims of legacy put up by Hazrat Fatima, and the honorable wives of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to the life of Ali radiallahu anhu, all narrated by Aisha bint Abu Bakr. To the mothers, the fathers, the sisters, the brothers, the cousins, the nieces, the nephews, to the aunties, to the uncles, to the grandmas, to the grandpas, to the grandchildren, to the mu'min. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. It's your boy, Muizzi. In this video, inshallah, her physical features. She was fair in complexion, polite in speech, cheerful in countenance, and handsome to looks. Her excellency and superiority. Her excellency and superiority. Now I'm going to try to do this, y'all. And I'm going to try to do this kind of calmly because y'all don't like the way my delivery is. So I'm going to try to be calm, inshallah. So stay tuned to the video. Like, share, subscribe, drop a comment. Do whatever you want, man. We're going to live forever anyways. This is for y'all. This is for my benefit. So thank you for listening. She was a scholar of great eminence. She was superior in knowledge, not only to the other wives of the Holy Prophet and leading women companions, but even to most of the male companions. Hazrat Abu Musa and Shari narrated, we never had a problem to tackle, but always found a relief from Aisha, radiallahu anhum. This is a sheikh. They go to Aisha, and whenever they got a problem, they go ask her to give her scholarly opinion. The women of Islam, the sahabiyat. Her knowledge was stupendous. Imam Zahri At-Tabi of great renown said, Aisha radiallahu anha was the greatest living scholars. Many of the illustrations companions approached her as students and made inquiries on points of knowledge. I never saw a scholar superior to Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha in learnings about the Quran, injunctions, legality and illegality of things, poetries, medicine, history of ancient Arabia, and pedigree, summoned up his estimates in the following words. If the knowledge of all the male scholars, pay attention, if knowledge of all the male scholars, so that means all y'all sheikh, if we put all y'all together, right now to this day, if we put every single one of y'all together, Sheikh Uthman, Sheikh Mufti Mink, Sheikh Ibn Abbas, whoever, whatever sheikh, Sheikh Hamza Yusuf, whatever sheikh you want to bring, put them up, we can put them all together. If the knowledge of all male scholars was collectively assessed, the knowledge of Aisha radiallahu anha was far more superior. Let you think about that for a minute. Aisha radiallahu anha has been counted amongst the most superior of the companions. She can be freely compared with the high-ranking companions like Umar radiallahu anhu, Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu, Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiallahu anhu, Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas radiallahu anhu. She used to issue fatwa. You mean to tell me Aisha radiallahu anha used to issue fatwas? That means legal rulings.
What?
Okay. Legal decisions under Islamic jurisprudence. During the Khalifa of Abu Bakr and Umar and Uthman, has summoned up her precise objections against the conduct of some very senior companions under 3 Khalifas. And this is the woman you say is oppressed? You say that she is oppressed? Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha has been included among companions who narrated maximum sayings of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As many as 2,210 traditions are attributed to her. Let me say that again. 2,210 traditions has been attributed to the teachings of Aisha radiallahu anha. That means that when you read 2,000 of hadiths, they were directly from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Aisha, and then we had the privilege to get it from her. That's what that means. And Aisha is the only one single person who has narrated that many traditions. As many as 174 sayings of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam confirmed by Abu Bakr. So not only did her sayings the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying were contributed to Aisha, were from Aisha, they were then confirmed by her father, Abu Bakr. And Hazrat Umar, we know who Umar is. Imam Bukhari quoted 58 traditions solely on the authority of Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha. Similarly, Imam Muslim quoted 68 traditions on her sole authority. Some learned people have opened that 1/4 of injunctions of Sharia, that's Islamic law, were drawn by Hazrat Aisha. So 1/4 of your law was drawn by Aisha bint Abu Bakr radiallahu anha. That's Aisha. Several problems related to the rationality of Islamic doctrines were solved by Aisha. Let me read that again. Several problems related to the rationality of Islamic jurisprudence and Islamic doctrines were solved by Aisha radiallahu anha. The doctrine, we're going to get to the doctrine. The doctrine of beholding of God. Wait. The inherent innocent of prophets. The reality of ascension, mar'aj, the order of the caliphate. So the order of the Khalifa came from Aisha radiallahu anha. We see why you don't like the Khalifa. I love it, man. MashaAllah, man. MashaAllah. The order of the Khalifa came from Hazrat Aisha bint Abu Bakr radiallahu anha. After the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the hearing of the dead persons, divination and knowledge of the unseen were such difficult problems that ordinary scholars had no daring to express themselves on them. Among scholars of high caliber who expressed views on these problems, the status of Aisha radiallahu anha was distinctly superior to anyone else. You want to play now with Aisha? Can you imagine sitting down with Aisha radiallahu anha? She was with the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for years. She learned from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam for years. She was there Remember the soldiers? When she got down and she lost her necklace and she got down from the caravan. That's why they did that. That was Aisha. She had her own army. On the subject of secrets of religion, the views of Aisha were respected by scholars of Islam. She expressed the truth and reality of the order of revelation of different passages of the Quran and the causes which led to the success of Islam in Medina. You hear that, Yahud? You hear that, children of Israel? We see why you don't like Aisha. We see why you don't like Aisha, because she taught us how to be successful and what the secrets of success were in Medina that no one could have known. Children of Israel. Ya Bani Israel. The ceremony bath on Fridays, that's Jumua. The ghusul on Jumua came from Aisha, radiallahu anha. I didn't know that. Did you? MashaAllah. You mean to tell me the actual narration of a ghusul on Jumua actually came from Aisha, radiallahu anha, from the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You see the chain of narration, Christians? You see the chain of narration, Yahud? You see the chain of narration, kafir, ya kafirun. You see that? You see that? You see how we do that? Cause of reduction in the obligatory part of prayers during a journey or voyage. The fasting on the 10th of Muharram, the Hajj pilgrimage, and the reality of migration from Mecca to Medina. About medicine, she knew all that can be desired of a household woman. In the matter of historical knowledge of the Arabs, she was unequal. The conditions obtaining in the pre-Islamic Arabia, the customs and practices of the old Arabs, their pedigree and social conditions of the Arab people were described by her in such details as are not available in the works of any historian. You hear that, historians? That came from Aisha. Aisha taught you. That's who educated you, historians. Who had written on these subjects. So the historians that wrote on the subjects, they had to go to Aisha if they want to know about the Arabs. They had to go to Aisha. Some important events pertaining to the history of Islam were narrated by her alone, such as how the process of divine revelation of the Quran started, the events of Muslim migration, the details of the incident leading to ifk, a false accusation against her piety. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. The system and the order under which the Quran was revealed. The conditions governing various aspects of the Muslim prayers and worship. The conditions relating to the last illness of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The events which took place during the battles of Badr, Uhud, the trenches, the happenings of Qurayza, battle of ZATUL, RAQA. The conditions of the Salatul Khawf, prayers offered in the moments of terror, the allegiance bay'ah offered by women after the conquest of Mecca, the events of the last pilgrimage of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the conduct and behavior of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Khalifa of Hazrat Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the claims and legacy put up by Hazrat Fatima, the honorable wives of the Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the sadness and dejection of Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu and his subsequent allegiance bay'ah. All these important events in the history of Islam were made known to the posterity through the scholarly kindness of Aisha radiallahu anha. Do we got to continue? Should we continue? We're going to continue. The literally taste of Hazrat Aisha was fully developed. She was eloquent par excellence and sweet of speech. Musa bin Talha is reported to have said, I never saw a person more eloquent in speech than Aisha, radiallahu anha. The convention for quoting the Hadith. The convention for quoting the Hadith. They had to have a convention. Hey, have you ever had a convention to quote the Hadiths? Y'all got conventions on selling clothes. Why don't you have a convention I'm quoting hadiths and learn where they came from. Is to reproduce the meaning and the spirit of what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said. Let me quote that again, because you didn't catch that. I know that just went over your head. It just went over your head. 747, flying cars, drones. It went over your head. The convention for quoting the hadith is to reproduce the meaning and the spirit of what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam uttered. In the case of traditions on the authority of Aisha, the very words uttered by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had been reproduced, which has given real life to such traditions. For instance, she described the first phase of divine revelation in the following words. Y'all ready for this? Y'all ready for this? Whichever dream he dreamt, it appeared in the phenomenal world like the silvery dawn. Again, under the influence of revelation. His forehead perspired. This phenomenon was described by Aisha in the following words. Y'all ready? Pearls glittered on his forehead during the incident of ifaq, false accusations. She could not sleep during nights. This was described by her in the following words. I did not anoint my eyes with collyrium of sleep. Her rhetoric and eloquence were unique in her description of the event of Zahra, as stated in the Sahih Bukhari. It is a masterpiece of literature. In the art of oratory, she had a distinction over all the companions except Umar and Ali radiyallahu anhum. Her speeches delivered during the Battle of Jamal are unique in force and candor. She spoke at the battle. She said in one of her speeches, "O people, be silent, be silent. Acknowledge my privilege of being your mother. I have the honor to consult you, counsel you, except a person who is disobedient to Allah. Nobody can hurl accusations on me." The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam breathed his last when he, with his sacred head, was reposed against my person. I was his most beloved wife. Allah guarded me against others in every way. My person became the center of faith between the faithful and the munafiq. That's hypocrites. Whew, that was hard right there. That was hard. Wallahi, that was hard. My person became the center of faith between the faithful and the hypocrites. It was due to my person that Allah revealed to you and me the injunctions about Tayyamum. I told you in the last video, Tayyamum came from Aisha radiallahu anha. Purifying prayers with sand or dust when water is not available. Again, look, my father was the third Muslim in the world, and he was the second of the two in the cave of Thar. Hazrat Abu Bakr was the first person to be surnamed as-Sadiq. The Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was pleased to appoint him as his next successor before his sad demise. When the rope of Islam began to falter after the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it was my father who caught hold by both its ends courageously and pulled up the reins of the munafiq. It was under whose efforts the fountainhead of apostasy dried up. It was he who put off the fire kindled by the Yahud. That's why they don't like her. That's why they slander her on social media. Y'all don't see it now? Aisha and her father, Abu Bakr, is the one who exposed y'all. That's why y'all started to slander. That's the root of the slander. Do your homework on the root of the accusations and who started it. It was the Yahud of Medina. Yeah, Bani Israel. We know who you are now. That's why they continue the slander of Aisha radiallahu anha on social media, because the Yahud own the social media platforms, or they have some type of influence. So we know why y'all keep slandering, because Aisha radiallahu anha and her father Abu Bakr exposed y'all. Those who quenched themselves, they were taken to their stations. Those who were thirsty, they were brought up to the water point. Those who had once quenched their thirst, they were given a second drink. When he had expired the evil head of hypocrisy, who had kindled the fire of fighting for the polytheist, when he tied up tightly your burdens, Allah called him up to his audience. I have become the target of objection. Let that sink in your head. I had to be, hey man, I didn't think I was going to be able to hold my composure, but let that sink in your head. I have become the target of objection. As to why I came out with an armed force, my aim, it has never been to seek a sin or to indulge in Talmud, which I wanted to annihilate. Whatever I am uttering is based on truth and justice, and is by way of admonishing and satisfaction. Y'all had enough of slandering Aisha?